Define access.
One at a time.
Whether you're a DC fan or just love Marvel comics and movies, or like me, love them both. The last few years have been full of some awesome movies. Some of our favorite comic book characters have come to life in front of our eyes, but there have been some characters that haven't got the attention that they deserve yet. Others have been side characters in other stories, so finally these comic characters are getting their own movies. Warning, there might be spoilers from existing comic movies ahead. Please remember to give this video a like if you enjoy it, then subscribe to our channel and turn on the notifications. That way we keep you updated on any new content that we post. Batgirl. This one has been needed for many years. It's seriously about that time Batgirl gets her own movie and stops being a sidekick to Batman and Robin. Batgirl has been in many different movies and in various different forms. As far as back as 1967, Batgirl has made an appearance in various adaptations of Batman. She was one of the first female superheroes that little girls could look up to and have representation as a strong woman. How it's been taking this long for her to get her own movie is really a mystery. This movie seems to be based on one of the early versions of Batgirl. In this version of Batgirl is the superhero persona of Barbara Gordon. She's the daughter of Gotham Police Commissioner James Gordon. In the comics, she isn't just a hero, but she also takes over her father's role as a police commissioner. That's awesome. We don't have a lot of information on the movie yet, and there have been a few ups and downs on the project already. Many writers and directors have been linked to the project over the years. One of the biggest upsets was probably when Josh Whedon left the project in 2018, but it opened the way for Birds of Prey writer Christina Hodson to write the script. It sure came to be awesome, and I can't wait to see it. Black Adam. Originally, the creators of Black Adam movie were gonna make some movie where Shazam would be the hero and Black Adam would probably be the villain. But after Dwayne Johnson agreed to star as Black Adam for the movie, the studio and creators decided that they could do two different movies as a whole. This meant that the awesome anti-hero Black Adam would be getting his own. This is pretty awesome news in our opinion. Black Adam has always been a multi-layered character that's super interesting. Him getting his own movie is completely deserved. In the modern comics, Black Adam is still pretty corrupt, but instead of a completely evil villain, he is rather an anti-hero. His sole focus is on getting his name and reputation cleared. In his head, he's the hero of his own story, and everyone else is the villain. We already have some information on this movie besides the fact that Dwayne Johnson will star in it. The rest of the characters in the movie will be some of the members of the Justice Society of America. Among the cast members that have already been cast in the movie are Noah Centineo and Pierce Brosnan, among others. It's set to come out in July of 2022. Black Widow. Fans have been asking for this movie to happen ever since Natasha Romanoff first appeared in the Marvel Cinematic Universe in Iron Man 2. Not only is she a kick-ass character, but her friendship with the rest of the Avengers has made her one of the favorite characters in the MCU for years. So when fans finally heard that she would be getting a Black Widow movie, it was super exciting, but a little bit bittersweet. Spoiler alert, in Avengers Endgame, Natasha had died. The Avengers needed to get all of the Infinity Stones, but in order to get the Soul Stone, someone needed to sacrifice him or herself. Natasha did it before Hawkeye could stop her. How will she then get her own movie? Question mark. Because it's set in the time before the events of Endgame. Set just after the events of Captain America Civil War, Natasha had nowhere else to go besides heading back to her past and the family she knew as a young girl. We have always wanted to know the truth about her past, and this movie will finally give us the answers that we wanted all along. I think it's going to be an incredible movie, but also a very emotional journey. It's set to come out on the 9th of July. Our Man. Our Man has featured on a number of shows in the DC comic universe. He has been in the Arrowverse in Legends of Tomorrow. His son, who eventually takes his mantle, was featured in the series Stargirl. Comic book fans are already pretty acquainted with Our Man. In the comics, he was Rex Tyler, one of the founding members of the Justice Society of America, but he didn't have any superpowers. He's a chemist and he accidentally creates a drug called Miraclo that can give the user superpowers, especially super strength and endurance. The comics and the shows differ a little bit in their rules of the use of the Miraclo drug. In most of the comics, you're only able to use it once a day. If you misuse it, then you won't be able to get the same powers again until the next day. But sometimes the comics will show Our Man using the drug more than once a day. We actually don't have a lot of information about this movie, but it should be at least 2 more years before we get to see it. Shang-Chi. For many, Shang-Chi has been one of the coolest comic book heroes for a long time, and for many people, he has always been their favorite Marvel character. It's still pretty unbelievable that it has taken this long for this character to get his own show or movie. What is even more mind-blowing is that this will be the first Marvel superhero movie with an Asian lead. It feels impossible, but but it's the truth. Many have said that they hope that Marvel handles this movie as well as they handled Black Panther. Hopefully it'll be a movie that's worth the wait. Shang-Chi has been scheduled to appear in a few movies in the past, but for a number of reasons these movies just never got finished or released. And when this one was scheduled, the global health situation hit, so it had to be pushed back. Luckily, this didn't completely derail the project, and Shang-Chi and the Legends of the Ten Rings has been rescheduled to release in September. He's a character that doesn't really have any superpowers. From a young age, he's trained by his father in martial arts and in controlling his chi, so he is a powerful warrior. Then he realized that his father is an evil villain who is in fact training him to become an assassin. He manages to escape, then he's drawn into the Ten Rings organization, and together they take on the criminal organization led by the villain, the Mandarin. The only problem is that the Mandarin is in fact Shang-Chi's own father, and he'll be forced to face his past. Some of the cast of the movie include Simu Liu as Shang-Chi, Awkwafina as Katie, and Tony Leung as Wen Yu or the Mandarin. It's set to be an incredible movie and one of the ones that I am most excited about on the list. The Eternals. This is one of the biggest budget films on the list, and it has some seriously big names on the list for cast members. You might have actually saw the trailer. Another big ensemble cast follows another team that exists in the MCU besides the Avengers. The movie is set not long after the events of Avengers Endgame. The Eternals are a race of humanoids that were created to protect Earth, especially against the evil race, the Deviants. They have also been on Earth for thousands of years and they are nearly immortal, so they have to split up and blend in among the humans. But now they need to reunite and protect a place that they have called home for such a long time. The movie has a budget of $200 million and is set to release in November. Not only will the movie feature the first LGBTQ+ superhero, but also the first deaf superhero to appear in the MCU too. Some of the actors in this movie include Angelina Jolie, Selma Hayek, and Kit Harington, among a bunch of other incredible stars. It should be pretty great. Morbius. This is a movie that will be set in the same universe as the characters in the movie Venom. This movie will be based on the character Morbius. He is a biochemist named Michael Morbius who has a very rare blood disease, so he tries to create a cure for the illness. But instead of healing himself, he inflicts himself with vampirism. Not really the outcome that anyone could have expected. He has all of the superhuman abilities of a vampire, but none of the weaknesses that we normally associate with these creatures. Jared Leto plays the starring role. The movie has been pushed back because of the global health situation and is now set to be released in January 2022 as a result. Creators have also mentioned that Morbius will probably join Blade in some other future movies too. Loki and Hawkeye. Now I know that neither of these characters are actually getting movies, but they're actually getting their own projects where they'll be the main character. These are some fan favorite characters in the MCU, and many have felt that they needed their own movies for many years. So when it was announced they'll get their own series, fans of course rejoiced. For the Loki series, it's set just after Endgame, and he has created his own timeline, and then he is brought to the Time Variance Authority that monitors the timeline. And Hawkeye is also set after the events of Endgame, and we'll get to see just how he handles the tragedy of Natasha's death. Both of these shows are set to release this year. People get really invested in comic book characters, and these new movies are sure to gather a lot of new fans to the genre. Thanks for watching.